Guys, what's going on, guys? I've been watching the reaction. I've been watching people's reaction and people's comments on social media. Ever since Amir Khan's come out and said he'll fight Kell Brook in 2021, I think there's a great chance of this fight happening. And I've been gauging people's reaction on my channel, on Facebook groups, in my own group. If you haven't joined my group is Boxing Fans. Message me in the comment section below, and I'll direct you to my Boxing Fans page. Join the group, and we can have discussions about boxing, debates about boxing a lot better in that group. So if you want to join the group, leave a comment in the comment section, and I'll direct you to it. Honestly, after seeing the reaction, I don't want to see Amir Khan fight Kell Brook. Before, when he said that, I was buzzing. I was like, yeah, I want to see the fight. But actually now I don't really want. I don't think it should happen. I'll tell you why. Because I don't think Amir Khan's gonna get any credit if he beats Kell Brook. I think the only guy that's gonna get credit and the only guy that's got to gain is Kell Brook. Amir Khan's got nothing to gain whatsoever, because if he beats Kell Brook, this is what a lot of his fans and the British public fans will say, is that Kell Brook was past his best and Khan took the fight now because he knew he would beat him, this, that. And that's what people would say. He's not going to get any credit for winning that fight. I've already seen so many people's reaction on social media and so many people's opinions. He's not going to get any credit for winning this fight if he wins it. I'm telling you, he's going to get no credit. He's only got everything to lose. He's got everything to lose, because if Kell Brook wins, they'll be like, oh, see, we told you Kell Brook was better than Khan. And if Khan wins, they'll say, oh, well, Brook was washed. And they're acting like Khan's in his peak right now. Oh, Khan waited for Brook to be finished. You do know that Amir Khan is also past his best. You do know that Amir Khan's had a harder career than Kell Brook. You do know that Amir Khan was a guy, as an amateur and a pro, had a harder, tough road than Kell Brook. He was an Olympic silver medalist, which meant he was fighting better men, right, as an amateur, right? Kell Brook only had, 27 amateur fights, I believe, or 36, something like that. Amir Khan had 110, right? Amir Khan, at the age of, 22, 23, was a unified champion, while Kell Brook was fighting like European and British journeyman at that time, right? Amir Khan has fought 16 former world champions, right, and beaten 11, while Kell Brook has fought 3, who's he fought? He's fought Golovkin, probably 5 or 6, and lost 4 of them, right? Khan's had the tougher career. Khan's a guy that started at 135, while Kell Brook was a natural welterweight, but yet he seems to be the one that gets the hate rather than Kell Brook getting the hate for not really having a proper structured career. I feel like Khan always gets the blame for the way Brook's career's gone. It's hardly Khan's fault that Brook wasn't a star and Brook's career didn't go well and Brook wasn't promoted right. It's not Khan's fault that what were you looking for, a leg up from Khan or something? What was the Brook fan like? I don't get it. I just feel like, irrespective of what happens in this, what happens is Khan's got everything to lose. Right? If he loses, then everyone's going to say, well, we told you so. If he wins, they're going to say, well, Brook was washed. Even though Amir Khan's not at his prime. He's not going to get any credit. He's not going to get any credit. Simple as that. So I think it's stupid, and I think the fight is pointless, because after seeing the reaction, it's only one-way traffic, really. It's only one-way traffic. I think the only guy that's got something to gain is Kell Brook. Kell Brook's going to get, I think the only thing that Khan's going to get to gain is a payday, is money. I don't think Amir Khan's going to get anything to gain from this fight in terms of respect, in terms of anything, even though after so long he'll finally give the fans the fight they want to see. But it's kind of like, we don't want to see it anymore. Brook's finished and that's the reason Khan wants to fight him. You do know that Amir Khan would have been the bookie's favorite if this fight happened in 2014. Brook wouldn't have been the favorite in this fight. Stop looking after the Canelo fight. Prior to the Canelo fight, Amir Khan was a very big size favorite in the fight. I think people are forgetting what Khan had done up to world before the Canelo fight. I think people are forgetting that Amir Khan had already beaten 11 former world champions, while Brook's second biggest win was against Senchenko, a guy that was stopped against Paulie Malignaggi, who Amir Khan stopped years prior to that. That's Kell Brook's Kell Brook's second biggest win. What is it? What is his second biggest win? Vasil Senchenko. Vladislav Senchenko, a guy that was stopped by Paulie Malignaggi. Yes, he was stopped by Paulie Malignaggi. And who does Paulie Malignaggi stop? Everybody says that Paulie Malignaggi is a feather-fisted fighter, right? This is what everybody mocks about. Oh, Paulie Malignaggi, good boxer, good skills, but can't punch. He stopped Senchenko. That's Kell Brook's second biggest win. So, again, I'll say it again that, listen, I think Kell Brook's career was, in my opinion, sold away when he fought Gennady Golovkin. He should have never fought Gennady Golovkin. That was Kell Brook's biggest mistake in his career, that he fighting Gennady Golovkin. He fought Gennady Golovkin the fight that he never should have fought. Never, ever should have fought. He was never going to win that fight. Right? Same thing you could say about Khan. Both guys, when Amir Khan fought Canelo and when Brook fought Senchenko, when Brook fought, what's his name, Golovkin, their careers were effectively over at that point. After that, their careers were over. But I would still say Brook was still fresh after the Golovkin defeat. Although he came off a bad injury, he was still, the Spence fight was quite competitive. And I think that fight just completely finished him. I think there was still a bit left with Brook. I think if he didn't have to fight Spence, I still think he could have done something. But I think that completely finished him. The Spence fight, I think that just was the beginning of the end. After Spence, he was just completely done and not the fighter that he was. But Kell Brook's career has probably been in my opinion, you could probably say the worst mismanaged career. Like, his career was so badly managed. I don't understand. I don't understand. I feel for Kell Brook as well. I feel for him, and then he went and fought Terence Crawford, and that fight ended badly as well. That was the worst defeat he had of all of them, at least against Golovkin and Spence. He put up a good fight. Here it was like, it was just completely, he did all right for 1-2 rounds. But, if you're going to judge a fighter on 1-2 rounds and say, oh, he did good for 1 or 2 rounds and then get wiped out with a hook jab in the 4th round, listen, man, I just think that, Kell Brook fans should look at what Kell Brook did and stop blaming Amir Khan for what happened to Kell Brook. It's hardly Amir Khan's fault what happened to Kell Brook's career. You should blame Eddie Hearn and blame the people that, mismanaged, or himself, because there's rumors about what he used to get up to himself, how he used to not live the life, so don't blame other people. You have to look at oneself and how their career's gone. Don't blame other people. Oh, he didn't fight him, or he should have fought him, or he ducked him. What was he doing? Why wasn't he fighting the stiffer competition? Why wasn't he out promoting his name and marketing himself in a better way? While Brook was chasing Amir Khan was fighting guys like Devin Alexander, Luis Collazo, Paulie Malignaggi, Zab Judah, Danny Garcia, Lamont Peterson, Julio Diaz, Chris Algieri, Zab Judah. These are all world-class fighters, all two-weight world champions, legitimate champions, all of these names that I'm mentioning. While Kell Brook was fighting Frankie Gavin, Jojo Dan, Kevin Bizier. It's a contrast. The two careers are a contrast. But like I said, for me personally, I just think this. I don't think this fight should happen now. Just because I don't like the vibe that I'm getting from the British public. I think the only man to favour credit from it is Brook. No one's gonna give Khan any credit if he beats Brook. They're just gonna say, oh well, he fought him now because Brook was finished and Khan knew that, so he knows he's got a chance. But Khan's finished. Amir Khan's past his best. He's not prime. This isn't prime Amir, or is it? This isn't the Amir. The prime Amir against this Kell Brook would annihilate him. You know, so it's not prime. This is a guy, this is a 50-50 fight. This is a fight between two guys that are completely at the end of their career. That are completely on the other side of their career. So it's not like it's a one-sided fight and Amir Khan's in his prime and he's fighting Kell Brook now and he's seen Kell Brook's washed up. No, it's a guy that's way past it himself. So surely, and it's a guy that's smaller than Kell Brook. Amir Khan is a smaller man than Kell Brook. Amir Khan started his career at 135. Kell Brook's a natural 147. Are people forgetting this? Or you just need, like, I don't understand. It's just continuous nonsense and biasness, right? The matter of the fact is that Kell Brook's career and the way it went wasn't Amir Khan's fault. You know, Junior Witter's career and the way it went isn't Ricky Hatton's fault. The fact that Ricky Hatton had a more successful career, the fact that Ricky Hatton made more money and was more famous was down to Ricky Hatton. The fact that Amir Khan was more famous and had a better career and made more money than Kell Brook was down to Amir Khan. Maybe it's just something from the Ingle gym. Maybe the guys haven't got persona because both those guys were from the Ingle gym, Witter and Brook. And they both were understudies, really. You know, they were both guys that didn't get as big as the other guy. You know, Brook couldn't manage to get bigger than Khan and Witter couldn't manage to get bigger than Hatton. Maybe it's just the personality from that gym. They need more charisma. You know, the only guy that had a lot of charisma was Naseem Hamed from that gym. You know, Johnny Nelson, another guy that was, you know, people said that he was a hard sell. I don't really know. He was before my time. But it seems like, you know, Witter, Kell Brook, Johnny Nelson, you know, there was other guys like Harold Graham. It seems like, you know, a lot of these guys from the Ingle gym just go under the radar a little. Maybe it's something from that gym, I don't know. But wherever, listen, you got to respect Kell Brook. He managed to become a world champion, and that, like I said, in itself is a great achievement. But I just think people need to stop this biasness and, like I said, look at it what it is. They're both guys that they're past their best. They're both guys that are past their best. It's a 50-50 fight. It's not like it's a Mayweather-Pacquiao situation. That's completely different. I'll tell you why. Because Mayweather waited for Pacquiao while Pacquiao wasn't great and Mayweather was still on top. Yes, Mayweather was older than Pacquiao, but Mayweather was still undefeated. Mayweather was still winning fights. Amir Khan hasn't waited for Kell Brook to slip off. That's why he's fighting him. Right? Amir Khan has slipped off himself. He is no longer a top. It's not like Amir Khan is world champion and he's thinking, you know what, this is an easy payday. Amir Khan could lose this fight. He's also past his best. I don't care what any Brook fan says. This fight would have been, if they fought in their primes, Amir Khan would have been the bookies' favorite. That tells you everything you need to know. He would have been, this fight happened in 2014. Who do you think the bookies would have had favorite in the fight? Who do you think the bookies would have favored to win? The bookies had Spence favorite to beat Brook. They had Spence favorite in Brook's backyard. Right? I'm not saying Amir Khan is Spence, but Amir Khan would have been favorite. Whether he would have won the fight, it's irrelevant. But he would have been a favorite in the fight. And a lot of people would have favored him in the fight if that fight happened in 2013-14 because Khan had fought at a lot higher level than Brook. Brook hadn't fought he had one decent win. One decent win against Porter. That's it. What was his other big win? Senchenko, a guy that got knocked out by Paulie. So what I'm saying is that right now this is a fight, a 50-50 fight between two guys that are past their best. I think we should look at it like that and stop hating on Khan now for saying, oh, he wants to fight now. What? It's irrelevant. The fact is we can't go back to the past and change it. It is what it is. So let's accept the fact that it's a fight that could happen now and let's just watch it for what it is now. It's not the best version of the fight it could have been. Yes, we get that, but it's still a good fight to watch. It's still a guy that are past their best, and that's still a fight that a fight that I would love to see, and a fight that makes sense. But I don't know, man. It's just frustrating. But leave your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And guys, remember to please like, share, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.